Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rahul. I'm a marketer from New Zealand, and on this channel we talk about everything to do with paid ads and e-commerce. So as someone who's worked with a few mobile apps, few SaaS tools, I noticed there's quite a big market when it comes to someone who's actually teaching how to run Apple search ads on YouTube. So in this video I'm going to break down my full structure, what to look out for, budget allocation, as well as what keywords you should be searching for. Now, before we actually get into the ad account, I'll go through a brief structure. Kind of what I like to do before I set up the campaigns is kind of map out what the campaigns are going to look like. So we're going to have ideally 4 campaigns, and this will be 4 campaigns per country. These 4 campaigns will all be different. So the first one is an exact keyword campaign. This is going to be a campaign solely about an exact match to the keyword you give Apple. So for example, if my app is a yoga app, let's take it for example, and I want to rank for the keyword yoga, I'll add that as an exact keyword, and Apple will start bidding on that exact keyword for yoga. And now the rest of the campaigns will be what we can call as discovery campaigns. And these are campaigns that are gonna, Apple's gonna tell us different types of keywords we can ideally find, and we can slowly move those into our exact keyword campaign. So the first one is broad. Now this will be a copy paste of your exact keywords, except we won't have the exact parameters anymore. It'll just be broad. And what we'll do is actually go ahead and exclude all the exact match keywords that are in here. Basically, this is going to tell Apple that we don't want to go after the same keywords that we're bidding in our exact campaign. We want to find net new keywords and net new customers in our broad campaign. The next campaign after this is the search match campaign. This is basically going to be, it's going to include no keywords at all. The only thing you're going to do is toggle the search match option that's available when you set up the campaigns. Again, we'll go through this shortly. And then you'll exclude, again, the exact match keywords that is available in here. And finally, the last campaign, again, this is optional. This will be a brand campaign, and this is solely just bidding against yourself. If you've got quite a big app, or if you've got competitors that are quite big, whatever it may be, you want to bid on yourself and make sure no one else kind of takes that opportunity to get your brand name ahead of you. In this type of campaign, you want to list your name in multiple different ways. So for example, if the name of the app was yoga, you can try spell it in different ways and just make sure you're always coming first when it comes to bidding for that keyword. So now that we've gone through the setup and how we're planning to structure it, let's actually get into the ad account and look at how we can actually put this together. This is what it'll look like once we've actually landed in our Apple ad account. We're going to show up ideally on a page like this, where it shows a basic UI, your app on the right hand side, and the name. What we want to do is head over to the top left where it says basic and change to advanced. Now this is going to take us to the advanced dashboard where we can actually set up our search ads. So once we've gone ahead and clicked create campaign, you want to click in here and search for your actual app that's associated to your account. Now it will come up with multiple apps that's associated to your account. Choose the right one that is associated to yours. And between search results and search tab, now search tab is a new placement that's come out not long ago, but we want to go with search results. So in here we can go ahead and choose country we want to target. In our case, it will be United States. And now it's going to show up with a bunch of options that you have to actually go through and fill out. What we'll do now is actually go through and fill out everything that's available on the page. So the campaign we're going to work on is the exact keyword campaign. So again, naming structure can be whatever you want. In our case, we can do something like reach, which is our agency. Then we can go exact, and then we can go USA. And you can always list out either the cities that you're currently targeting, if you're doing specific targeting in USA, or you can just leave it broad and just leave it like this. I don't think Apple prefers that, so I think we'll dash. And now the budget is quite, it varies quite a lot. So we can have a daily budget of $1,000. Now with With Apple in particular, what I've noticed is that it doesn't actually go ahead and spend the full $1,000. This could be dependent on keywords again, but we've had instances where we've had a daily budget of $3,000, and Apple ads will go ahead and spend, maybe $100, $200, $300 if we're lucky. So again, what I would do with this is maybe start off smaller. And if you don't see any spend at all, take a look at your keywords again and take a look at your cost per tap, which should be down here, and see if you can play around with the cost per tap and also the daily budget. Maybe you can slowly increase this up if your cost per tap is already quite high. But for the purpose of this video, we'll stick to something like $100 a day. You can change the start date or end date if you're having a fixed campaign. You can go ahead and add those parameters in here. But for this video, I'm going to leave it quite open and head on down here. What we're going to do with the ad group setting is just call it broad US. And now the max cost per tap is something that you can play around with. Again, like I mentioned before, you want to consider what it is on other platforms and maybe try go for a similar bid or lower. This is a good suggested cost per tap by Apple. It's very surprising. Usually they'd suggest something like $4 for cost per tap, which is quite expensive. But for some apps, it can get to that level if it's quite a competitive industry, competitive niche. So for this example, we'll go with the ideal cost per tap. A rule I like to go with is maybe if it's a cost per tap or a cost per install or a cost per click, ideally on Facebook, off maybe $2, I'll try aim for at least half of that on Apple. So try go for $1 or less. In this case, we'll go for 70 cents. CPA goal is ideally what your cost per install is going to be. You can add an optional CPA goal. Apple will try optimize for it, but it's not something I would recommend at the start. And now we've got search match here. This is something we have to turn off because we're going to leave this turned on when we actually set up our search match campaign. So for this, we'll leave it off and scroll down towards our keyword group. And in here, we actually also have the option to add negative keywords. And again, this is something that we're not doing in our exact keyword campaign. We're going to actually do this in our discovery campaigns because we're going to want to exclude everything that we're adding in here in our exact keyword. So if we go ahead in here and actually look at some options, we can actually, if it's a different type of app, we can go for football, let's say. We'll go ahead with our original example, which was yoga. So the popularity shows how frequently people actually search this keyword. So you can actually add these keywords in here. And what you want to make sure is the match type is actually broad. So make sure it's not showing. It is showing exact because it is an exact campaign. So change all of these to exact. And you can also alter the cost per tap, the bid for each one. For the moment, we're going to leave it at the default of 70 cents. And yeah, you can go ahead and add more keywords that's more tailored around the keyword research you do prior to coming into this ad account. Once you've gone ahead and actually added all these keywords, our next step would now be to go ahead and move on to the audience section of this. And with Apple, you can actually go ahead and target different mobile types, but I would recommend leaving it on iPhone. In our case here, it's already grayed out to iPhone only. And for customer types, it usually is selected as all users. I've changed it to new users. And in this video only, I'll be focusing on new users only. If you want to do some types of retargeting, you can go ahead and click on returning users or users of my other apps. Again, this option here would be more if you've got multiple apps connected to that one particular account that's shown here. And if we go to demographics, if your audience is more dependent on females, so you can actually target females only, and an age range as well, which is great. And again, like I was mentioning at the start, if you have certain areas or states in USA that you want to target, or you've got maybe you're doing a beta testing in California only. This would be a perfect time to target California only in this location setting here. With that in mind, you need to make sure that the location is big enough for you to target. So if you're having a location of California, you're ideally going to have to increase your budget or cost per tap, and your learnings might run out much quicker just because the location's much smaller. Ad scheduling, again, you can do this. You can launch ads depending on the day you want it to. You can also make sure it runs in particular times of the day. So if you notice users are more active from 5 p.m. onwards, you can go ahead and schedule that for your ads to run during that time. And now the ad creative itself. So this is where you can actually do some cool A/B testing. You can also test out the types of text as well, which is quite cool. Apple have just released the custom option where you can create a custom product page in a separate UI to this, actually. And what that custom product page is basically testing different types of screenshots, as shown here. You can go ahead and test out maybe different types of creatives for the first 1 or 2 screenshots, or test out the text in the creative. That's some more opportunities that Apple are trying to provide users and marketers. Again, I'll most likely have to blur out all of this because it's got some client details on it and we're not allowed to quite share it just yet. So we're going to be blurring out this for this video. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and create your campaign and it will go live within the next 2 to 3 hours. So that's actually going to be all for this series. What I'm going to be doing is breaking down those other 3 campaigns I discussed, which are discovery campaigns, and I'll talk about those in the next part of this 3-part series. I'll also discuss how to scale campaigns and how to actually reduce the cost per install. Again, if you guys are new here, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.